Alright. Self to self. Alright, man to man. Therapy don't help. I've been perpetuating this looping my problems for almost 5 years now. And I never got to the root cause of my problems. These past months, I put myself in the goddamn psych ward like 4 times. This past 2 months, actually. And they put me on meds, they put me on this and that. And none of it helped because I wasn't doing self-integration. I wasn't helping myself. I was so afraid of judgment, even from myself. It's one thing being judged, being afraid of being judged by someone else. Right, not wanting to seem weak in front of someone else. But it's another thing if you don't show yourself weakness in the presence of yourself. It's pointless to blame anybody at a certain stage of life, because you realize that, at least I realize that everyone is just a product of their environments, of their own habits. Like, no matter what type of school, what type of training they went to, like I realize that, you can join the military and they can train you, but if you don't accept the training, then it's just pointless. Like, you're not gonna get trained. You can watch all the self-help videos you want, but if you don't listen, if you don't actually listen to it, then you might as well have watched 0 self-help videos. Like, for the past 4 years, I just blamed my parents. I just blamed, and for the past year or so, I just blamed society for my problems. And then I just couldn't take it anymore, so I put myself in the psych ward. And it helped for like a few days until it hit me again that my problems are my problems. Like, I don't have any serious issues. I don't have like I mean, I diagnosed myself with bipolar and like schizoaffective disorders. It wasn't like anybody diagnosed me with anything. I don't have any serious issues. I don't have like those severe mental issues. And one thing about the psych ward is if you go in there, they're gonna have to diagnose you with something because that's just how it works. Like nobody go to the psych ward without a reason. And I got put into therapy, some stupid like partial hospitalization program thing. It just didn't help. Instead, I found myself going in a loop of delaying my own problems, delaying the fact that I never stood up for myself. You know, it's unfortunate sometimes. All you could do, like for me, all I can do right now is actually like right now just go back home and just sit in the darkness and rewire my mind, not using drugs, not using prescriptions, not using anything like that. I thought those things will help me, but in the end it didn't. It just instead to keep delaying the problem and keep delaying the problem. And well, there's no and. These institutions that I looked up to, right? Like I actually called the police on myself several times because I didn't feel safe for myself for some reason. All they're trying to do is just help you, because I mean it's very simple. At the end of the day, nobody can warm inside my mind and just see exactly what's wrong. And again, there's no and. I'm just using filler words. We live in a society where it just, I can't put this without just being brutally honest. We live in a weak society where it's okay to run away from your problems. It's okay to blame the next man. It's okay to blame some institutions. It's okay to not to basically beat around the bush and not tell someone the absolute truth. This is why they hate people like Goggins, Tate, and these big CEOs, or matter of fact, just anybody rich who made something out of themselves because they went hard on themselves. You know, because they refuse to tell themselves lies that they're okay, and obviously they deal with their own problems. Right? Anybody who made something out of themselves deal with their own problems. But what I'm trying to say is nobody told me that I was just being weak. I'm supposed to actually stand up for myself. I'm supposed to just make something out of myself. the thing is, nobody is supposed to tell me, and um, again, there's no and. I'm just using filler words. Like as a man, in modern society, especially in the West, obviously in the East too. Right? If you live in, I'll just say honestly, if you live in um, countries like in the East, countries like Russia, China, Japan, Korea, and in the West, if you live in the U.S., Canada, some South American countries, um, England, and some European countries. There's no easy way. There's no. You're supposed to just take your own problems and do something with them on your own. Because like the countries I just named, society in these countries, um, like people can okay, they're not third world countries anymore. Like these countries I named, they're not third world countries anymore. It's not like you can just go to a farm or do something like that and have a happy life. Just no matter if you're a man or a woman from these countries, you're just supposed in a sophisticated society, you're supposed to do what you gotta do, right? Literally put your emotions to the side. Deal with your emotions like on your own and figure your own life out. Now, so going back to me, just running away from problems from my childhood for like 5 years now is suddenly just slow. Well, not as it didn't suddenly hit me, but it slowly hit me that nobody can help me. That therapy just delaying my problems, delaying the fact that I have to face my problems. Nobody can warm inside anybody's mind and figure out what the problem really is. For some people, then maybe they have to go through intense therapy because otherwise they can't function. For some people, they have to take prescriptions or even do drugs to just get past a certain phase of themselves. And for other people like me, just we're supposed to take matters into our own hands, and any external help is just actually delaying the fact that we have to face our own problems. So yeah, well, I'm just uploading this to this is like a video diary almost. Well, it is. Like I'm just uploading this to YouTube to just capture my life. Like in a few years, I'll obviously be in a much different place, And I look back onto these videos just to remind myself how far I have came. I like to believe that, and I do believe that the algorithm isn't random. So if you're just seeing this, then it means that you're probably around the same position as me, where you find yourself frustrated, where you find yourself at the end of the ropes. You go to therapy or whatever, and it doesn't help you. And yeah, one last thing I want to say is there's no such thing as the elites of society, as the what's the other word for it, as a controllers of society. There's nobody controlling each other except for their own spirits. You know what I'm saying? Like, the true elites are the people who take matter into their own hands, and you actually see them every single day. People who check themselves out of the internet because the internet is bad for them. Like, it just takes away their attention to fulfill their own life purpose. The people who create art, people who do something with their lives, right? Like, dude, the gym bro or the gym girl or the artist you see on the streets graffitiing, they're actually, like, they're part of the elites of society because they're doing something with their lives. And from my perspective, just a lot of people complain about stuff and blame the elites because they have this, they romanticize the idea of, there's some people like up in high castles or whatever, just like looking down in society and controlling every part of it. Just that's from my perspective, that's not the case. From my perspective, people romanticize that because they lack control in their own lives. So they would like to believe that someone else is actually controlling society and they're just doing a bad job of it. In reality, like, if people are 100% honest with themselves, just everybody have their own problems to deal with, and it just depends on how well you deal with them. It just depends on how you choose to deal with them. Some people, like, well, I can give an example. Actually, I met someone from the psych ward whose parents are pretty well off, actually, but they themselves have a lot of problems. And unfortunately for me, I wasted some time just hanging out with that person. Essentially, their father quit their job and poured a lot of money into their well-being, and that person they're still like mumbling around, and they're still blaming they're still blaming, they're still not figuring out their own the end of their own sticks. It just, and I see it on YouTube too. I used to used to be like a really I used to be like a huge internet kid, I just put it that way. And I see like rich people's their children having like standoff with the police, and they commit financial crimes, and some of them just choose to live like a more relaxed lifestyle, like all different kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter what part of society someone is from, they all have their own problems. And at the end of the day, the human structure just like it's just a structure of humans. There's no elites of society. There's no like people up in high castles, or like how the video games portrayed. That's just a romanticized version of it. These people neither do well for themselves, or people don't. Well, I'm gonna cut myself short before I go over explaining some stuff. This, I think I made my point pretty clear. And if you see this video, then I hope it helps explaining why therapy don't help, why blaming certain institutions or certain people don't help. And yeah, that's it.